Alright guys, I am back, and sorry I did not have any time this week to record any of the videos, or any for that matter. But it's been a crazy week. Crazy good, not crazy bad. So, the pockets we're working with today are, or this one right here, not pockets as in more than one. Yeah. So, we're gonna make a couple, like, since there's 3, you know what, we're just gonna run a little bit longer, I think, than our normal, like 15 to 20 minutes. And we're just gonna try to get all of this done since I already have it all cut. So it's the one that flips. There is, if you made them like me, there is a pocket here, and we're gonna wait till we have kid ephemera, and we're gonna do something cute there, I think. Okay, on both sides. So let's do the easiest ones first. And then we'll go for this one here, which it still isn't hard, but yeah. Anyways. All right. So this one is just a simple tag up here. And yeah, so it can still be written on this side and on this side. And then we'll make this one here, which is a tag that can be written on like back through here, or we'll decorate it or something. And then this is just some of the scrap paper folded in half, slipped in here. Again, we can decorate the front, and then excuse me, the back can be written on as well. And it looks like I didn't ink that back, but we can do that now, right? All right, so let me give you some measurements. And then I guess the third piece, I'll go ahead and show that to you now, is just a cute little booklet. And again, we're using up scraps, so don't necessarily go for all of the, or should we just complete a pocket at a time? No, well, no. Okay, sorry, I'm jumping around mostly because, you know, it's all good. And I'm gonna go ahead and stand for most of this because my back's hurting. All right, so what we're gonna need is, let's make this small one first. Super simple. I've already cut it, and I will give you the measurements here in just a sec. Let me set this aside. All right, so this one is the 2 1/4 by 5. And I just cut just out of some of the scraps that we're using. I just cut this, and then you'll need another chunk that's around 1 inch, and we'll cut that down. And then you'll just need some other scraps that are, I think it was 3 1/2. Let me get my ruler out here. Yeah, almost 3 1/2. I cut these at 3 1/2. And then this one is 4, just under 4 3/4, but I think I cut this one at 4 1/2. Yeah, 4 1/2. So yeah, we're all good. Just like I said, scraps. That's what we're using up. And probably in a few videos, I'm going to show you all the scraps I have left out of everything we started cutting. So it's pretty amazing. All right, so all I did was I just took this, and these, like I said, these are kind of simple. What makes them extraordinary is when we start decorating them. So I just took here about 1 inch in, and we might have to add some more glue in a minute. And apparently this is going to be stubborn today. I mean, it could be because it needs to be cleaned, you know. Okay, about 1 inch in there. And then I just took and did that, okay? So I'm going to do this to all of them before I trim the corners so that it has a chance to dry. And then I usually just kind of pick it up and just make sure it's not really seeping out on the back side, so it's not gluing to a mat. So we'll just set that up there. We'll do this one. So I hope you guys are all doing well. It was a good, busy week. Not a whole lot of time to get anything accomplished, and I have literally been exhausted every day, which is good, right? But yeah, I'm on my feet more than I'm in a chair or anything, which is different from what I had been doing. So yeah, and I'm having to draw on skills I haven't used since high school, so that's been interesting. So it turns out, I have found out more about the position that I'm taking, and it's more on research and development than it is anything else. And if you guys know me, I am like always busy, right? Like always doing something. And it's been very hard for me. Like we were assembling some R&D parts this week. And I can't tell you what we're researching and developing, but just know that it's fun. And that said, okay, so I'm going to let those dry for a second. I'm going to move over to the cards. And since we don't really need the glue right at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and cap it off so that it doesn't continue to get cloggy. All right, so for this one, I just folded in half. And then I'm going to take my corner rounder. And then we'll round out the edges, and then it just kind of is a cute little piece of ephemera. All right, so back to work. So, yeah, interesting stuff being developed for the medical industry. And so, yeah, I'm just learning that, and we're doing, the company I work for also develops tubing, like, oh gosh, everything from like automotive to medical. And so we have to do testing on it. So from like a research standpoint, we have to test, you know, at what pressure does it burst? You know, what does it, at what point does it bend? That sort of thing. And every material has to be tested and tested differently, or not, I guess not differently, but yeah, it's just all going to be tested so that obviously the customer knows what they're getting before they buy it, to know if it'll work for their application or not. So yeah, interesting times. But again, that pulls in, there's some science behind it. And so I'm having to revisit all my high school lab instructions on how to conduct experiments and all kinds of stuff. It's fun, but it's also my brain hurts when I get home. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, it's fascinating stuff, and I'm working with my coworker, and then also with an engineer. So that learning how an engineer's brain works is pretty fascinating. Super nice guy, not overly social, but very sweet. But he's very thorough in what he's explaining, and I love the way he explains it, like several ways. He's a very good teacher. Both of them really are. So yeah, it's been but like I said, I've been on my feet more this week than I have probably in the last 20 years. And so you'll be happy to know that I made all my, exercise goals without even going to a gym this week, per my Apple Watch, which is dead and on the charger now. So yeah, like I said, interesting things. And you know, honestly, like the whole chemistry thing really wasn't my thing. I liked more like physics, in high school. So, yeah, testing hypothesis and stuff is definitely not my strong suit when it comes to that. So yeah, and I didn't really dig biology, which I'm having to kind of do some research on, because right now I'm working in the clean room and kind of learning that aspect about biologicals and, you know, germs, and I mean, which we all kind of know a little bit about germs, but yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim these down, and then I'm gonna cut just a tag shape. So yeah, like I said, just fascinating. And really, like, since it's been so long since I worked in outside of the home, I'm really getting a bird's eye view again of how men brains really work, which is a fascinating treat, I guess. if you could call it that. Yeah. Like I said, fascinating times. Yeah, not gonna lie, it's been a fascinating week. And I'm just gonna take this one and trim. And then we'll ink it, and then this one will be done. So, yeah. Like I said, they're both very nice guys, but definitely, there's definitely is a difference between how women, like, business brains work and how men's brains work, you know? Like, I'm a doer. Like, give me a project, I'll do it, and I get it complete. Where in the lab here, it's really not about production per se. It's about discovery, I guess, would be good. So that's trying my patience a little bit, as far as, like, not negatively, but yeah, I'm definitely not used to sitting still or standing still for hours on end. You know, it just hasn't been my thing. So I don't know. Wish your girl luck, because, yeah. So, and I guess too, I'm just trying to kind of figure out where I fit into this whole scheme of things. It's kind of odd that they would place me here, like with my different skill sets. But sometimes life doesn't need a reason or a rhyme, right? You just are where you are. Okay, so we'll just slip these in here. Okay, and then I think we'll end up putting holes when we decorate, holes up here, and we'll use some sparkly stuff. Oh, and here I am rocking the crafts. Literally, I'm swaying back and forth. Maybe I should sit down. Oh. And I'm even still doing it now, just loading these pockets. Oh, my goodness, your girl's a goof. All right, so we got those. All right, so let's move on to the next one, which is recycled items. 3, 4. Oh, I cut 4, but I really only need 5. Okay. All right, and like I said, we're using scraps, and I thought I had enough pulled for this one. Well, okay, maybe not. Maybe I'll have to pull the cutter out, because I don't think I have any wide enough to combat that. I don't even remember how wide that was. So 1 1/4, right? Because that was a scrap. I was like, why? Oh, 1 3/4, I meant. All right. What else can I tell you about the week? I guess I could tell you I'm super proud of Grace. Last night she was at the football game, and this friend that she's had for a while, oh, give me a minute to glue this part down and I'll tell you, oops, the measurements of this one. Oh, so it's just a Triscuit box too. And I just, obviously you can probably tell by the title there, but, and one of her friends said something so egregious to this other girl that Grace couldn't believe it. Like, and I don't blame her. It was bad. And so when Grace basically had an issue with it, this girl totally threw a fit. Oh, it was bad. I'm proud of the way she reacted, but geez. So there, you know how teenage girls and whatnot, I mean, I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys about how vicious they can be with each other. And most of you people that are new here probably won't know, but Grace really just doesn't have a mean bone in her body. She's pretty much dedicated her entire life to service. She's just, I always feel like maybe it's bragging or whatever, but, and maybe it is, but Grace was born with something more, which I think a lot of this Generation Z is what they're calling them. They are born with something just a little bit extra, in my opinion. So, oh, and these don't all need to look the same. Like that one was a little bit bigger than the other one as far as like the scraps we're using. So, but anyways, where was I? Let me give you a measurement. I keep putting the ruler away, which is kind of unlike me these days. Yeah, so 2 1/4 by 8, I believe. Nope, 7 1/2. So this girl told this other girl that she hoped that she went and killed herself. Yep, you gasped. I heard it. So Grace, and I really hesitated to say anything, but I guess okay, so a lot of you that have been with me for a long time know that my nephew committed suicide a year ago, April. And it wasn't I mean, not that suicide's ever pretty, obviously, but it was bad. And I don't want to talk about it too much, like just the badness of it, but let's just say it wasn't pleasant and that it took a very long time. He suffered for a very long time. So that said, this friend knows that, right? And then, oh, and I should clarify, she didn't tell my daughter to go kill herself. She was telling this other girl too. So Grace, being Grace, was like, what did you just say? Like, are you kidding me? Because her father has also been suicidal, my soon-to-be ex-husband. And our son has had his bouts with depression and suicidal thoughts too. So Grace and I tend to be more, I don't want to say more sensitive about it, but kind of. I mean, I can definitely say that it hits differently for me a little bit, you know? Hurts my heart a little bit more when I hear things like that, but I am so proud of her. She stood her ground with this girl and was just like, no, you know I don't stand for that. Like, how dare you? How dare you say that to her? How dare you say that to, like, in my presence? Like, no way. Not this time, you know? And this girl, like, she's not a terrible person, but she definitely, unfortunately, this poor girl needs a wake-up call. She's not making the best choices in her life. And I think that's why Grace was kind of drawn to her, was because this girl needed help, right? Like, she needed a friend, and Grace is always the friend that's there when people need her. So anyways, yeah, so Grace called me, obviously all upset. And I was just like, well, all I can say is that I'm proud of you. And and the part that really upset this other girl, the audacity. This is the kicker. This is the kicker for me. So Grace stayed with this other girl to make sure she was all right, and that this other girl's words didn't prompt her to kill herself, right? And this other girl was like, no, we all know how she is. Like, her words don't have any effect on me. It's not like that. And Grace was like, okay. So this girl ended up giving Grace a hug, not Grace giving this other girl a hug. And this other friend saw it and literally lost her mind on Grace. I was like, oh no, are you kidding me? So of course Mama Bear's all out because this girl has like personal items of Grace's, and I'm just like, well, she better have them there Monday, because if not, this mama's showing up on her doorstep. And if this mama needs to have a talk with her mama, then I guess that's what's gonna happen, because I'm so done with this girl. Like, like seriously, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to use this one since it is so big. I think I'll use this one because it's a little smaller. Yeah. Yeah, not having any of that. No way. No, ma'am. Can you believe that these kids say these kind of like cruel things to their friends? Oh, God. It's just terrible, isn't it? And especially like, I mean, I don't expect people to be overly sensitive to that kind of stuff. But really, this friend knows what Grace went through, especially the last year. And to say something like that, not only just to a human, but to say that in front of Grace, like, I should probably get off my soapbox, huh? But yeah, and normally I would leave stuff alone, but I'm flabbergasted that this girl thought that those words were okay. Which I guess kind of leads me to the bigger problem here, right? Is that these kids think saying those kind of things is perfectly acceptable today. That bothers me greatly. I do have some issues with that kind of thing. Oops. All right, guys, we are getting close. I'm going to go back through. I think I'm just going to take this big one since they're all like pretty close. And we'll just, this one might be a touch longer, but. And then we'll ink them, I should say. Them as in plural. Yeah. So if you've got some youngins in your life, make sure that their friends aren't telling them that kind of stuff. That's like heartbreaking. And okay, so I'm sure a lot of your minds already went this direction too, because we all seem to kind of think alike, or if not alike, at least similarly. Can you imagine what's going to happen if that girl actually killed herself? Like, would this other girl even care, or would she feel justified in what she said still? I don't know. Guys, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this world and these kids. Like, how did we get this desensitized that we think that all that stuff's okay? And I hope not. I've been saying a ton of prayers for that girl. Like, even though she said it didn't bother her, I'm like, I mean, come on. That kind of stuff has got to bother you. Poor baby. This mom's indignant on her behalf. All right, yeah, we just covered the gamut, did we not, in the whole video here? So let me try to get onto something a little more happy. Well, how about this? Grace is going to homecoming next year, or not next year, next weekend. So that ought to be fun. I think we said like a couple weeks ago, I think when she was back here during a video, it's like Greek or something. Is that what she said? I don't know. It's, we ordered out some Greek tattoo things, like those put on your skin and water them type of thing. We ordered some of those, and then she's getting her nails done today, which I thought was kind of weird to get them done a week out, but maybe not. All right, so let's throw these on. And I'm sitting for a second so that I'm not rocking the potatoes, if you will. Actually, I think I'll put it this direction. Okay, and I was going to say in the next couple of videos, I have all the stuff cut, but they're going to be, I don't want to say boring, but they are kind of not overly exciting, if you will. They're just really just making the pieces we need to make to fill up the pockets. And then, not next week, but the following week, I've got a whole lineup of cool ideas. We'll be doing charms and paper clips and just tiny embellishments. We'll probably at some point make some clusters with the leftovers. Yeah, it'll be fun. I promise. I promise. I promise. And there's like a ton of inspiration going on right now on YouTube, so I'm super excited about that. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put this one's little tag in there. And these, that's another reason why I made them out of the cardboard, is so that they'd be good and stiff to go down into that pocket since it was so tight. Okay. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so then the next piece we're going to make are these right here. We don't need that one anymore. And they are super simple. I did mine with a staple, my Tiny Attacher by Tim Holtz, but you could do it with your regular stapler too, or you can glue them, doesn't matter. And that one is 7 3/4 tall by 2 1/4 wide. And then I scored at the 1/4 inch mark, so that, or 3/4 mark, so that it makes it 7 inches when it's all said and done. Okay, so I'll get my ruler out here in just a second so I can measure it just to make sure I'm not lying to you. Yep, 7 inches. Okay. And then these pieces are also cut at 7 inches. And then I just, and then these are, the inside pieces are actually not 2 1/4. I think they're more like 2, they're just under 1/4. More like 1/8. So it's super simple. I'm just going to slide these up here and kind of try my best to kind of make sure they're kind of centered around the edges. And actually, I need to do this first. And then I just slip this on top, which is 7 by 2 1/4. Like so. Then I just try to kind of line it up. Like this. And staple at one end. And then staple at the other end. Ooh, my tummy's growling. Hope you guys didn't hear that. If you did, I apologize, but okay, so there it is. Super simple. And it's just little flip plaid to go inside. Okay, and I think I'm gonna pause really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, let's get these finished up. Yeah, forgetting where I was there for a second. When the kids text, you gotta go, right? So yeah, anyhow, fairly interesting week. Thank you guys for letting me vent over that whole thing. Anyhow, let's see. What else is new? Not a whole lot. I'm off a little bit on a link. I think I'm going to leave it because it's not so much, so that it makes a big difference. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't really have much more to report. I mean, other than those like little hiccups, I think it's been a pretty decent week. Like I said, just busy. So I'm having to rethink my whole video making schedule a little bit. And I think I'm going to just try to record as many as I can on Saturdays. So that leaves me time on Sundays to get the big projects that I'm working on. I still haven't gotten my room done, or the studio, like the new studio stuff done yet. Working on it, but it's still Still a work in progress. I got the shelving that we're going to be using. I should say carts. They're really like utility carts. Got those at Sam's. I got to get them out of the back of my pickup. It's been a hot minute since they've been in there. So, yeah, probably be a good idea if I brought it in. But I was able to stop the other day after work and get some new paint because it hasn't, the walls in the living room and like some of the other main living areas have not been done since like 1993 when my grandma painted that. Or was it 90? It was 95. Must have been 95, I bet. Anyways, when my cousin was getting married, my grandma hosted her bridal shower, and that is literally the last time that those walls have been painted. So it's time. And I didn't get too much of a different color than what's already on the walls, but this time it'll be semi-gloss because I like semi-gloss paint because it just, with animals and everything, it's just so much easier to clean. Okay, we are getting there, guys. And did I make too many? Oh, I think I might have. Oh, well, that's all right. Look at that. I have some extra ephemera, right? That's all that means. Can't say that I don't love that. Because I'm certainly going to be making more journals, so. Because the new kids probably don't know this, but literally Christmas is my favorite time of year. All right. So we have these little guys filled. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, guys, I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.